704 Tactical. As a Kripple Krew is well aware, I have been a big fan of the brand, thinking they provide some of the best build quality, fit and finish, and feel in the super budget territory. The biggest complaint that people had, though, was the D2 steel. And guess what? Brian listened. And today we have not one, not even two, but three brand new 704 gear knives, all packing 14C28N for between 30 and 40 bucks. And guess what? If you act fast enough, you can get a free knife with any of these. Stick around to find out how. What it do, Kripple Krew? EDC with DBD, disabled by Daddy. And like I said, we are talking about three brand new 704 gear knives today. And I'm going to try to get through it as quick as I can for y'all. As you guys know, I've said it before in my 704 reviews and on live streams. Brian is the main reason I found the knife community. Following his 704 Tactical channel, when he started 704 gear, that's how the algo really started recommending me more knife content. And I found the community. So there's a possibility there'd never be an EDC with DBD channel without Brian at 704 Tactical. And he was kind enough to send these new knives in for us to review. And some of these will be given away. Before we get into it, stab that like button like you mean it. Make sure you /subscribe and that you bash that bell for notifications so that you don't miss anything. And by the way, right now on Amazon, I'll link it below. Pardon me. You can still get the Hornet here for $29, but it's Tonto Brother, the Fang, same blade or same handle profile, but a Tonto blade. That one is only $19.99 right now. All right, the first of the new knives we're going to look at today is the Mantis, and yes, as you can see, it is a very similar shape and overall length to the old Hornet, but with some very noticeable upgrades. And I'm not just talking about the steel. Yes, we are rocking 14C28N now, but as you can see, 704 Gear is now offering Micarta. We've got a nice canvas Micarta on this Mantis, or you can get this with a black G10, and that one has a black wash blade. The thumb studs are more comfortable on the new button locks, and he's changed the handle profile to make the ergos so comfortable. We still have a very solid choke up here and plenty of room behind the pivot for my extra large glove size hands, and then big hands can use with ease with that choil. We are looking at 7.7 inches overall length with a 3.28 inch blade of, or 3.2 inch blade of 14C28N. They call it a reverse Tonto. You know, you could call it a sheep's foot. It's really up to you. With a heavy stonewash finish that I really like, and a sharpening choil that's going to get you a lot of life out of it. Closed, we're looking at 4.5 inches, and we're looking at exactly 4 ounces with full steel liners. They are not milled for weight reduction, but for the size of the knife, it really doesn't feel like it needs it. And we balance right there. So slightly farther back than maybe if they were skeletonized, but it feels very balanced in hand. In a beef jerky Avenger grip, I am capped off and locked in, and that micarta, you know it's going to get stickier if it gets any beef jerky juice on it, so to be even grippier. In a beef jerky Defender grip, I am still capped off, locked in, and I don't feel like I'm going anywhere. The handle is big enough to turn around if I needed to cut straps, But in this choil position, I really do feel like I'm locked in. 704 Gear uses what they call their Pro Edge finish on all of their blades. And I don't know exactly what it means, but what I can tell you is every one of them that I've ever received has been very sharp. Very sharp. And they hold their edge. Here's my D2 Hornet after nearly a year of having it. I gotta find a straight spot. After nearly a year of owning this Hornet, it is still very sharp and slicey. This had been my favorite up until now, and so it's been the one that I kept and carried the most. However, that might be changing. We shall see. I still love the crossbar on it, but I'm only going to give you one size comparison for each of these so that we don't take too long. I'm going to go with the obvious size comparison here. Yes, we are looking at the Civivi Vision FG, which is going to come in just a little bit bigger overall than our 704 Mantis, but with a very similar grip size. So the length is more, I mean, the handle length is a little longer on the FG, but it definitely is more blade the way that they have done it. However, this still feels like you've got plenty on that handle. I definitely do like that they have upgraded to Micarta. I like the new pivot. It reminds me of a drive sprocket on a tank. And huge thing, for this price range, all 704 Gear knives are reversible. Deep carry, tip up as the gods intended, reversible pocket clips. That's huge because what we're looking at with the Mantis is only $39.99. $39.99. $40 for 14C and Micarta with phenomenal thumb stud action and a very well-tuned button lock. We've got a good size plunge there. We've got nice contact with that stop pin. We've got, let me try something real quick. Oh yeah, pivot was slightly loose, but we have a rock solid lockup, still perfect action, and let me give it one little more twist. There we go, centered. So this one showed up a little off center, or maybe it's because I've been flicking the heck out of it, but it fixed very easily. And for this price, I'm not complaining. A lot of knives I get require a little bit of a turn on the pivot. Lanyard spot back there, open standoff construction, nice clean, easy to maintain. I like it. We're going to move on though to the Dynamo. And I am digging this little knife. And the action feels even better than the Mantis. Rock solid lockup. We are centered. Once again, we have a reversible tip up as the gods intended pocket clip. Our overall length on the Dynamo is 6.8 inches long with a 2.7 inch 14C 28 in leaf shaped drop point blade with a heavy stonewash finish. It comes in either green G10 or black micarta. It's 4 inches closed and it comes in at only 3.5 ounces. So you're getting a sub 3-inch blade, which is nice not only as a backup or a medium-sized knife, but also very good for dealing with certain knife laws. Having a sub 3-inch blade can come in very handy. With my extra large glove size hands, I still get a full grip behind the pivot, and then that choke up, again, a good finger choil allows for a lot more room on it. Our thumb stud action, again, feels great. Our button lock is well tuned. Yeah, these are done really well. And this one here with the G10, you're looking at only $29.99. These go up to $34.99 with the Micarta variant, but still a fantastic price. And I haven't even told you how you can get a free knife yet. I'm going to give you a size comparison for this one. And I think a very good size comparison for this one is the Benchmade Mini Grip. We are almost the exact same length. You know what? We can even butt them up against that there so you can really see. Move you out the way, homie. We're almost the exact same length with slightly more grip area on the Dynamo and a little more sharpened edge on the Mini Grip. We do have a little bit of jimping on this one, which I wish the other models had. And it does definitely help to lock in. Just like the reverse Tonto, this blade shape is going to be very useful for EDC. We have a very low tip. We have enough belly to cut on a surface. And once again, that pro edge finish. I mean, seriously, the sharpness level on this sub $30 knife is nutty. Brian, whatever you're doing is working, homie. The Dynamo is probably my second favorite of the trio. I think they're all well done. But I think this one's probably my second favorite. And I'm going to show you which one is my favorite. Before I talk about the two comments, you know, the two things that I think could be improved for all three of these knives. Oh, once again, we have full steel liners, no skeletonization, so this is going to be crazy strong. We have a good sized plunge and a really good lockup feel on that button lock. Yes, I know we've started to fall in love with button liners and top liners and all of that. But at $30? Nah, that's hard to beat. Still, my favorite of the bunch is the Sabertooth. This Sabertooth just looks and feels great. And I think would be a phenomenal EDC knife. I will be checking these out more, of course. This is just the first impressions. I'll be checking them out more before we talk about them and I give some of these away. But with the Sabertooth, we have a 7.7 inch overall length with a 3.2 inch blades, very just like our Mantis. This time we're rocking a 14C28N, obviously a sheep's foot blade. And very heavy stone wash finish. We have a closed length of 4.5 inches. We come in at 4.3 ounces. This is available with black micarta or blue G10 and a black wash blade. And like I said, of the three, the Sabertooth is my favorite. So we'll start off with the action. This one gives us, even though the thumb studs work great on the other two, this blade hole is just too fun for flicking. And let's see. Whoop, that was my bad, but it did open. Let me find the spot. There we go. The detent is good. It's just I'm trying to do the 5-finger flick and get... my fingies were in the way. I know I can do it without flipping the knife upside down. Oh, so close, but my finger got in the way again. Oh, yeah. There we go. Pinky flick. Easy with the pinky drop. But this is definitely a 5-flick challenge knife because once you play with it and find the right spot for each finger, that blade hole is just phenomenal to use. Then we have this flipper tab, and normally I don't like a flipper tab that's going away from your fingers. You try to grab it, I shouldn't say normally, but they're not always done well because oftentimes one, as opposed to having this scoop upwards or even be straight, when it's coming down like this, it can be easy to come off of the flipper tab without generating enough force. However, with the detent that this spring tension is providing us, this flipper tab feels great, whether I light switch it or push button where it really feels good. And then because of the way it's curved, I've got a great locked in finger choil choke up or a bit of a finger guard if I'm back here. And that jimping will keep me back and off the blade, or I can grab right in here and it's almost like pulling a trigger with the way it's shaped. Very comfortable. Once again, we are crazy sharp. I think all of these are rocking right about 100. Yep, they all look, by my calipers, or as DCA would say, micrometers, we're looking at about a 120 thousandths blade stock, I would say. Once again, all three of these are plunge lock button locks, but at this price range, I'm absolutely cool with that. The G10 Sabertooth comes in at $34.99, and the Micarta is only $39.99. And I'm telling you, this one is my favorite. I love the burlap weave. The exposed back spacer just for the lanyard spot actually does look pretty cool to me. We've got that tip up as a God's intended and reversible pocket clip, which is great because all of these knives are lefty friendly, having ambidextrous opening options and a button lock. Instead of your thumb, you just use your index finger. So very lefty friendly. Again, a huge props to Brian for doing that on all the knives at this price point. I'm going to pull all these out. Yep, you're going to get plenty of sharpening life on that 14C. I love this swedge up here. I was just taking a look at the blade real quick before I grabbed the others. Oh, these really are tuned well, Brian. These, if I was to compare, these feel like Civivi button locks. To me, Civivi is probably the top of the line. They got the plunge lock right first. And these feel, they feel very similar to that. And that's a good thing to me. That's a compliment. Now, I do have a couple of negatives. I wish, and I don't know how much cost it adds, but I wish there was a little skeletonizing to these steel liners to bring the weights down. But again, the knives don't feel bad. So it is absolutely not a deal breaker for me. I mean, this one, again, balanced very well, feels very nimble. Whoop, great in a beef jerky Avenger or Defender grip, and I have no worries that I'm gonna slide up on that blade. Just to show you real quick, because I didn't really show the ergos on this, it is big enough for me to cap off and feel like I'm absolutely going nowhere in a beef jerky Avenger. And in a Defender, now I've got that pocket clip locked into my hand as well, so I'm absolutely not going to ride up on that blade. All right, so what's the negatives? Well, we have a T8 pivot. I do wish we had T8 hardware for the rest of the hardware. I'm not a fan of T6s because they are more likely to strip on both the screws and the bits. So I would absolutely love to see T8s everywhere, all around. It's not a deal breaker for me. Definitely not a deal breaker. The skeletonized liners, and then one other thing is these plunges do taper quite a bit. Not on the Dynamo. The Dynamo is done very well. Our plunge grind ends right here. So all of this sharpening life is going to be, it's going to last you a long time with the 14C. This one, our taper doesn't end until here. So we have less sharpening life before before it starts to widen a little bit at the back. And again, this one, our taper ends about here. We still have good sharpening life before it starts to widen at all. But I do think if these plunges were brought back the way that the Dynamo is, it would just add that much more longevity. Now, does it matter on a $30 to $40 knife? No! And how will you get a free knife with these? Well, right now, via the 704 Gear website, these will be linked below. If you buy any of the new 3 new button locks, any variety of them, you get a free Midnight Scout knife in D2, one of his longtime knives from 704 Gear, a good knife, and a patch with your purchase. So for 30 to 40 bucks, you can get 2 very well built knives and a patch. That's a killer deal. It'll be linked below. These are also available on Amazon. However, you don't get the freebies with them, but I will link that below in case you prefer to shop on Amazon. However, after looking at these 3 badass budget bangers, I want to know, Krew, which is your favorite? Do you like the Sabertooth's nice wide blade coming down to a very slicey edge and chunkier ergos to fill the hand? Do you like the Mantis and that oh so useful for EDC blade shape? Nice ergos and just sleeker blade. Or are you down with the Dynamo? Little badass banger. You can get in a fun bright green or black micarta that looks really good as well. All 3 of these at a phenomenal price. Which one do you like best? Are you thinking about picking any of them up? Let me know in the comments below. Until next time, folks, stay safe, stay frosty, but most importantly, folks, stay deadly.